Hello, my friends, and welcome to the March 2019 garden tour. This is the very last day of March. There's a saying that says, in like a lamb and out like a lion, for how March often behaves. This year it was in like a lion and out like a lion. We had 12 degrees Celsius weather here on Friday. It's now Sunday, and we had a winter storm last night. Garden looks beautiful, but I wanted to also show you the structure that you can create in your garden for the winter time. What you're hearing is the melt of all of the snow. It's about 0 degrees, 1 degree, so it is all going to melt, thankfully. But we're really tired of winter here right now, so it can just melt very quickly. Thanks very much. We're done. But I wanted to take you around. You can see I have a garbage can sitting right in front of us, and that's because we were actually working here in the garden on Friday, actually all week, just doing a little bit of prep work because it looked like spring had sprung. And it's always a balance between what you take away early in the season and also knowing that there probably will be at least 1 or 2 more snowstorms. So it's a balance of trying to get the garden ready but not working too much. So here's what the garden looks like. Let me show you the herb tower, which is where I usually start out with. I take out the herbs for the winter and I replace it with cuttings from my blue spruces in the front yard so that I get this really pretty effect. Let me just back up here so you can see it. Sorry about that. And you can see it's sort of almost like looks like a little tree. It looks beautiful from inside and looks great sitting out here. It just gives it a little architectural interest. We leave our chairs out here all season long as well. I'm going to pan the camera, as well as our set here. Everything stays out here and I freshen it up with new coats of paint if it needs it, which it usually does every year. In terms of the structural elements, I have lots of the baskets. We leave them out here all winter long. You can see that each one has pine and spruce. I leave the obelisks here, and I also add in lights. And this year I added in a really neat little Christmas tree ornament on the top of each one of these things, just to give it a little bit of reflective quality. And I really like the way that it all comes together. You can see that there is a big building back there. You don't see that in the summer tours because it's all blocked by leaves. So as I walk down, here's the different urns that I set up. I put fake silks in there as well, or they just give color and texture. You see my little pink set is still sitting there, but it's really quite pretty. The feature pot gets its own design as well. I use the balls. They reflect and give different colors. Oh my goodness, guys, look at this. Look how pretty the dogwood is. It almost looks like little blooms in it. Isn't that pretty? Oh, the trees are just gorgeous. So let me just show you as well a couple of things. I also want to just mention, when you set up these, what I call winter urns, I don't call them Christmas urns because I call them winter urns. They last all winter long and they give you structure and color. It's totally worth the investment. We go and we invest a lot of money in our summer urns. To go and spend $100, $150 to give you almost 6 months worth of winter urns, totally worth that investment. So don't undersell yourself and the effort it takes to do those. It doesn't cost a lot and the stuff lasts quite lovely throughout the year. So here's looking at the garden. You're looking for interesting structures, so you can see that this cascading red bud has this nice weeping look, whereas you get an upright sort of look coming from the dogwood. You can see all the evergreens that I've planted here as well. And my paths are all clean, and that's only because I was working out here the other day. And here is all those nice little 9 or 10 boxwoods. They've done quite well over the winter. And just panning over here as well. Here's all that interesting winter look. When you plan your garden, you need a combination of both evergreens, structure, design elements that make it good for the winter time as well. Here's my, I'm gonna back up here, hopefully I don't trip. You can see the arch and how nice that looks. I bring in, of course, all the pots. I'm just gonna turn the camera again so you can see right up the deck. It looks just as pretty in the summertime as it does in the wintertime. But it's about the effort that you make to think about what are the other seasons. So I walk through here. You can see that we also leave our hammock out. We don't bring it in. Sometimes I do, but I would say in the 22 years that we've lived here, it's come in maybe once or twice. So it does mean that every year it needs to be cleaned up, and that's only been in the last couple of years I've had to actually soak it. But previous to that, I never had to do anything. We also take in the topper for the topper canvas for this particular setback here. We also take in all the cushions, but we leave the rest of it out, and it's just more interesting architecturally to look at. These trees here have really grown, the three of these. I originally planted them because we didn't have a fence, and there's a parking lot that's just beyond my neighbor's yard, and I didn't want to see that, so that's why I planted them. But I'm very glad that I did, because now that we have a fence, they provide more privacy above the fence. Kind of wishing that I'd planted a couple more over by this tree. So over here you can see that the path is really quite pretty going into the garden. That's the Japanese maple. I'll take you up to the front just to quickly show you the rest of what the yard looks like in the wintertime. It's not going to be a long video, but I just wanted to give you a perspective of how the yard changes in the wintertime. Before I go right into the front, let me just turn around one more time so you can see what the garden looks like. See how pretty that is back there? Lovely. Just bring you over to the front. Obviously, my fountain needs some work, so as we come around the front, we have all of the trees here. We did some trimming on them last fall, and we'll do more trimming. My hydrangeas right there also are going to need to be trimmed. Apparently the blooms come out much bigger. They need to be trimmed in the springtime, so I will be doing that. And these trees here have become very large. And I'll also trim over here the clematis that's on the wall here, and it also will bloom. So I just want to take a quick moment to show you what the garden looks like in the wintertime so that you can appreciate how structure and form comes together no matter what season. All right, thanks very much for watching this quick little video of the winter, and I really look forward to sharing with you what the garden looks like all summer long.